Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Inside Post. Here we have another Memorial Day card for Churchill Downs, giving you the late pick five for this card, um, capping it with the grade three winning colors. That will be race eight as we get the return of Echo Zulu. So we're going to kick off this Memorial Day card at Churchill with race five going 6 furlongs. Just say claimers of non-winners of 2 for 3-year-olds and up. This will be on the dirt, and it should kick off that late pick five. So what we've done previously, if you've kind of watched some of our videos, down below you will find our full structure of all the courses that we will be using in these late pick five sequences and the early pick five sequence if you are betting throughout the day. We hope you take in observance the Memorial Day and the meaning of the Memorial Day as we give respect to those that lost their lives in battle or the ones that never returned home. So we're going to use number 6, Lemon Drop Shot, as our top pick, starting things off in here. 5 and 1 and 3 so far in 2023. Looks to be the horse of the field that is best in class right now. Has some of the highest speed figures in here, the best dirt speed figure in here. Jonathan Wong is at a 10% clip right now as his training angle at Churchill Downs. So I think this is definitely one that we will use on top of that. Next, just to the outside, we're going to use Carbonite with Gerardo Corrales for Garcia Gennaro. This horse, $25,000 purchase out of Union Rags. Another one kind of struggling so far in 2023. Only has one start so far. Going to come off a big 4-month layoff. So that's interesting. If this horse can get back to those early days, right after it broke its maiden, running in again, obviously not non-winners of 2, claiming, posted some big speed figures in that 90 to 80 mark. Hopefully we see that again. Could be interesting. Gets Gerardo aboard, who is doing really well at Churchill. Going to get a little bit of class drop, going from a $30,000 claim to, I believe this was a $10,000 claim. And again, the trainer, when dropping 2 or plus classes, is hitting at a 32% rate. At 5 to 1, this definitely looks like a great one to have on your pick 5 sequence. Vibiscum is going to be our third choice, and we probably will go 3 or 4 deep in here. Jason Barkley with James Graham, another class dropper, 20% on the trainer for Jason Barkley when he is dropping down in 2 classes. This horse has some of the higher speed figures of the field at this distance and on dirt. Again, coming off a pretty good 2-month layoff, so interesting to see how this one is pointed in here and trying to break out of this non-winners of 2 claiming. Next, we have the race 6, our first turf race of the late pick 5 sequence. This one is going to be 5.5 furlongs, an optional claimer of 80,000, non-winners of 2 for 3-year-olds and up in here as well. Pretty, looking at it, yes, the fields look kind of small. The turf races probably are a little bit better betting. So kind of spreading a little bit more on the turf has kind of been our angle that we've used all spring. So we're going to continue it into the summer. In here, we have Gregory's Pride as our top pick for Florent Giroux and Philip de Amato. 2 and 1 so far in 2023. Has the best turf speed, closest to the average winning speed going on the turf at this distance for Churchill. However, it does or will move up in class from winning last time out an allowance of non-winners of 1. This was at Keeneland, going 5.5 on that turf as well. A horse that looks to be one that is going to be a late kick, definitely late kick, as it came from 6th last time out at the second call and was able to finish just ahead by a nose as the post-time favorite. Has posted some pretty good works coming into this race. Step up in class, it will be, I guess, the negative side of things in here, but the speed and the connections alone are what will drive this horse. Florent Giroux will obviously get bet. People will see that this horse won last time out, that it's trending in the right direction. The big thing is 5.5 furlongs on the turf coming from behind. Where's this horse not going to get the wire, or who's going to beat this horse or outrun this horse? We're looking to the inside of Shiki Shabazz, number 5 with Jareth Loveberry for Martin Drexler. This one, another one that comes off of a win and an optional claiming of 62,000. I believe this was for non-winners of 1. Steps in here almost off a month and a half layoff. Has one of the higher speed figures. If you look at that speed, it was going 5 furlongs, ran a big 105 speed figure from about mid-pack, was third at the second call, and kind of finished by a length and a half, I do believe, over the second place horse in there. So the big high speeds will get this horse bet a little bit as well. 105 speed figure is huge coming off, I guess, coming out of a turf race and then pointing back to a turf race. This one will come from Gulfstream Park, comes to Churchill on Memorial Day to hopefully stick around for that 5-1 price, which could be pretty good money if that's what we see come post time. Our third pick, a little bit better priced horse in here, is Prime Factor. This is owned by Three Diamonds Farm, another Gerardo Corrales mount here. This one is $185,000 Keeneland purchase back in November of 2021. Comes in for Sherry DeVoe. Gotta love those connections. I feel like she's beating us, or Sherry's beating us several times on the turf, so we're going to use it in here just because it's kind of been our Achilles heel. The high percent trainer switches to a high percent jockey. Gotta love that. The big thing was it got beaten last time out as a beaten favorite, finished 6th in that race. Does get Corrales aboard for the first time. Steps in here again like most out of on a non-winners of 2, and I think gets back, not necessarily gets back to the turf, but going for the turf its second career time. Maybe this is what this horse prefers. It ran, I believe it was at Belmont at Aqueduct on the turf, going 6 furlongs. Steps back in here at the Churchill turf, and I think we'll see a big speed figure out of this horse as well. Looks to be a horse that can win it from anywhere. Looks like it could go to the lead. It could sit just off the lead and press the pace. I preferably would like to see this horse out early. I think that's kind of what this race could be for Prime Factor, especially if it wants to steal the race at a big 10-1 price. I feel like the lead is where he's going to have to go. Like I said, we will probably go 1 or 2 extra ones. I think it's Gaston. Looks pretty good for Jason Barkley and Mitchell Murrell in here to use with some high speed figures. We have somewhat of a turfway shipper in Friar Lawrence that looks pretty good. Ancient Peter Graves. Again, so just check out down below. We will have kind of how we are structuring this late pick 5 sequence and what horses we will be using. We do have a long shot play in here for any trifectas, exactas. It's Major Blue with Gabe Saez for Dwayne Lucas. This is a flatter colt, a 3-year-old colt. As much as some of these horses are a little bit older, comes out of an optional claimer of 80,000 of non-winners and finished 9th, just nothing whatsoever. Did come out of the bluegrass. Again, nothing whatsoever in there, finishing 10th. So it does get a little bit of class relief. If you look at some of these other horses where they have been pointed at 20-1, I don't feel like this horse will stay 20-1. It's going to get bet down just when people see the class or the class drop that this horse looks to be getting. I just think it's got a long way to go, as it's 2 wins. It's kind of wired the field, going a mile and 5.5 furlongs. It does cut back in distance again. So that one would be a decent price to have on a deeper deeper pocket ticket, this one will probably be included on one of our deeper pocket ones. Again, turf races on this card have been probably where the value is going to be, or where the value should be. So that's kind of what we're going to try to do, is spread as much as we can on the turf. Race 7, we're going 6.5. Maiden claimer in here. What do we have? Fillies and mares that are 3-year-olds and up. So we're going back to the dirt. Again, not as much happening on the dirt. As you can see, there's 8 horses in here. Number 7, Bambaruski will be our top pick. We have Gerardo again. This one is Eric Foster trained, $170,000 Keeneland September purchase out of Empire Maker, with some unbridled and hard spun on the Grand Dam and Sire of things. The biggest thing, I would not say, obviously the horse is not finished in the money in all of his 5 starts, or her 5 starts. Did post a really, really good workout back on May 1st at Keeneland. I know that's kind of a long time, and we really haven't seen anything since then. But that's interesting enough. That big 4 furlongs and 48 and some change. I believe it was breezed in that one, but a big workout, going 1 out of 26 for that workout day. Does get Gerardo for the first time, and again is still looking to break its maiden. Comes out of a $34,000 claim, so it will drop just a little bit in class, but again, the big question mark is hasn't hit the board in 5 starts. Our second pick is Little Sister Sue. 6 starts here, and we've had 4 third-place finishes. Again, dropping in class today to this $50,000 maiden purse from a $70,000 that it's been running in the last 4 starts. Has one of the highest last speed ratings of a 79 buyer. So that kind of is what is pointing this horse in the good direction. Again, another one that trained really well. May 18th, going 5 furlongs and 103, was first out of 11. So the 2 horses that we're using obviously have put in great works, are dropping in class just a little bit, and looks to be trying to drop in here to pick up that first maiden win. Again, third pick, we're using Red Hot Genie, 4-1 with Joe Talamo and Tom Drury. Ran 6 furlongs last time out and a 50,000, so kind of sticking with that same class. Tom Drury is hitting at a 17% right now in his maiden claimers, so we're hoping it's time for this horse. It's only got 2 starts on it, but if you look through here, a lot of these horses have, I guess, 2 or more starts. I think there was one, number 2, being a first-time starter. So probably one of the tougher races of the card, especially with the maiden, and some of these horses that have not even hit the board whatsoever. So who's going to take that step forward? Just tough first 3 sequences of races. Stormhaven, number 6, looks good. This was out of Nyquist with Steve Asmussen trained Brian Hernandez. We will probably use this one on our ticket as well as a dropper. Thought there was one more that we were going to use. Maybe that was it. So again, check out that link down below to get that full structure of how we are picking this. Could be pretty good pay for a late pick 5. All right, here we go. The highlight of the card, going 6 furlongs to Winning Colors, grade 3, for fillies and mares that are 4-year-olds and up. Here we have Echo Zulu returning for Steve Asmussen. Yes, she came out of the Kentucky Oaks last year, finishing 4th, getting beat by Secret Oath. One thought that she would be the horse to beat, stepping into that after coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the Fairground Oaks, winning both of those. Kind of came into the Kentucky Oaks undefeated in 5 starts. So we see her back now after that Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint, finishing 2nd to a really good Goodnight Olive. Comes in here off a 6-month layoff. Forcing trainer Steve Asmussen, 4-5 favorite, and yes, she probably should be the 4-5 favorite. just because look at the class that she's ran against. She put in a really good workout May 22nd, going 5 furlongs in a minute. She was 3 out of 19 in there for the connections. I just think this horse is kind of setting herself up for a really big summer and possibly pointing back to that Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint once again. And I think this is just how she's going to start that summer. Again, obviously, it's our top pick in here. It doesn't say, I know, but in due reasoning, I mean, 104 speed figure coming out of that Breeders' Cup race. However, she does get Florent Geroux for the first time. Ricardo Santana not on her as he usually is, or Joel Rosario as he usually is. So interesting to see what Florent Geroux does. And again, I don't see it being an issue. I believe he's at a 22% right now for the Churchill meet. She's shortening up just a little bit, and I think that's kind of what the connections are thinking. Let's shorten her up, get her back where she wants to be, and let's point her back to a Breeders' Cup run in the fall. Second, we have Spirit Wind. Interesting. I know this horse doesn't show the class that you would think to compete with Echo Zulu at 7-2. 6-4 in her lifetime, 1 for 1 so far in 2023. And I know it was a $62,000 claimer, but the horse has hit the board in all of her 6 starts. Speed figures are anywhere from the 94s to 91 mark. She does come out of 2 times back a grade 2 race at Gulfstream Park. This was last July. So interesting enough, pointing in here. Again, speed figures are comparable, somewhat probably the closest to Echo Zulu. Kind of why we're using her as our second pick. But more than likely on ticket structures, Echo Zulu should be a single. Fire on Time will be our third pick, 3-1. I know there's not much value there. Dale Romans is hitting at a pretty good rate right now at Churchill Downs. Does take a step forward in class, 11 for 6 in her career. Just going to have to take a big step forward. Comes out of grade 3 stakes race at Gulfstream Park, where she finished 6th. Grade 2 again at Gulfstream Park back in January, finishing 3rd. So definitely one that's going to need to take a big step forward. A long shot play just for some money value would be Marissas Lady. Comes out of the 8 bells 2 times back at Churchill back on 2022, May 6th. And then gets pointed to the blue, I believe it was the Blue Sparkle at Monmouth back in July. So comes off a huge 10-month layoff for Will Morey in here. Interesting for what the trainer, how, I guess, not really keeping the horse away, but making sure that she is ready to run. And I see this horse, if anybody would play spoiler to Echo Zulu, I would bet Marissas Lady. It's interesting that the horse posted a pretty good workout May 19th. I believe this was at Turfway Park. Went first out of 14. Time before that, again, Turfway Park was 2nd out of 33, 1 out of 15. So the horse is in great training if you look at the workouts, if you're a workout type person. The biggest thing is for us was hasn't raced in 10 months. That's kind of like what is happening. Why haven't they tried to put this horse anywhere? And they felt like, boom, here we're going to put it up against Echo Zulu. First time out, first time off the bench. Interesting enough, we shall see what will happen. But I really like, if there was a spoiler, this horse to be. If we have some, extra money on our pick 5 sequence, we're going to throw this horse in with Echo Zulu as using a 2 horse in here just for some value. If anything crazy happens and this one is the spoiler of the day, it's a pretty good price for 10-1 right now if that's where it stays at. Perfect. Just interesting with coming off the bench for that amount of time, putting in some really good workouts. And hey, let's try to get some value. And to finalize it out, race 9, I guess I should read it. 1 1/8 mile going on the turf for maidens, 120,000. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. So what a way to end it on the turf, going a mile and an eighth. Number 9, Sri Lanka looks pretty good for Florent Giroux and Brendan Walsh. Brendan Walsh is hot right now, absolutely hot right now. At least in our opinion, he is smoking right now at Churchill Downs for whatever he has been able to train or put out on the course. Has usually ran really, really well. What's interesting, this horse has 2 starts, getting its 3rd start in here on the turf. Brendan Walsh, Florent Giroux, check, check, and check again. So hopefully we're expecting a big race in here. I know failed as the favorite last time out. I believe had Lasix, and I believe it's coming off of Lasix. No, getting Lasix back again for the 2nd time. So that's definitely a big check mark in there. I think the horse needs to be a little bit closer to the lead instead of trying to run horses down. I would like to see something a little bit different, as it's kind of failed to do that in the past, but it's going to be going a mile and an eighth, so a little bit extra ground in here. Should set up fairly well as long as it doesn't get too far behind the pace. Second pick, Boppy for Chris Landeros and Brad Cox. We really haven't seen a Brad Cox horse all day, as he's probably got some at Belmont or elsewhere. Interesting enough, this one comes in here, making its 2nd start, coming out of Turfway Park. $70,000 maiden there as well, finishing 2nd. Had the lead going into the stretch and kind of was outkicked there at the end. This horse was about 3-4 to 1. So interesting. Definitely using this horse just because $300,000 purchase, Brad Cox train. 2nd start, did really well in its debut. So again, this horse should take another big step forward in here. 3rd, we have Frida's the Red for Brian Hernandez and Kenny McPeak. Gets its 6th start, has 3 second place finishes, has 1 start so far in 2023, finishing 3rd, finishing 2nd in that one as well. And that was the last time out, $100,000 maiden at Keeneland, going a mile there as well. So getting a little bit stretched out here, going an extra 1/8 of a mile. Definitely one to use on your tickets and in your exacta trifecta wagerings. Next, we probably will use Rosie tomorrow. Interesting with Mike Maker putting a horse in here. Again, has been training horses really well of late. Seems like he's hitting at a pretty good clip. Again, this one was pointed at that Turfway or Keeneland race that Freitas the Red is coming out of as well. So these maiden races are tough and kind of going to have to go 3-4 deep in there as well. And I think our other one, our long shot play, was Blessing the Flag for Vincent Chaminade and Ignacio Corrales. Comes out of a $120,000 maiden at Churchill Downs. So familiar with that turf at Churchill, previously being at Turfway Park. 81 speed figure, so has some of the speed that is average of what has been winning or what is average of the field. Out of Distorted Humor, so in a Giants Causeway on the dam side, has this horse going in the right direction. Workouts really haven't been impressive, but I think that extra 1/8 of a mile, I guess you would say, could be what this horse needs. Looks to be one that could run from off the pace, one that maybe goes to the lead or sets off the pace. That could be interesting enough. Hopefully, Vincent kind of gets out early, especially being in that one hole, which should help this horse and make a difference of where its placing should be. So there's our picks for this 9-race card on Memorial Day at Churchill Downs, with the highlight being the winning colors, the Grade 3 Stakes race of the debut of Echo Zulu for 2023. We thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that like button. Give us a subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for the Belmont Stakes. Let us know down below who you like in these races or your best bets for the weekend. And we hope you win big using our picks. Thanks.